Now when you go to Deuteronomy, it lets you know that the children of Israel would go into slavery again with ships. Now, in the middle of those curses, he told the children of Israel what would happen. Now, let's see, Deuteronomy chapter 28. Chapter 28. Okay, it says, let's start at verse 45 of chapter 28. He said, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearken not to the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So the children, it will be upon the children of these individuals who made a covenant with Yahweh. They made a covenant with him, and he told them if they don't obey, it's going to be upon their seed, their children. And in that covenant, in verse 68, it say, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. And that's how the children of Israel came into captivity here in America. And he said, once they get off the ships, they'll be sold to their enemies for slave man and slave woman, and no one would save them. No one would save them out of this captivity but him and his son. You see, only Yahushua would save them, because that's what Yahushua means. It means he that saves, or he delivers. So the one who they ignorantly called Jesus Christ, his name is Yahushua, because his name have a meaning in the Paleo Hebrew, and the meaning of the name is the name. He that saves. Yahushua. You see? So it's hard to mix up the name and get it confused and say all these other things that got nothing to do with the Paleo Hebrew. Now, in the next chapter, in chapter 29, he reiterated his statement about the seed of Israel. And it said it would be upon them forever. Now, in chapter 29, he reiterated it when he said in 27, he said, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against this land to bring upon it all the curses that are written in the book. So the curses came upon the children of Israel. That's why we got evidence that we was placed on a slave ship by our enemies, the Hamites and the Edomites, and brought to another land. Now, in verse 29 of chapter 29, it says, the secret things belong unto the Lord our God, but those things which are revealed belong to us and our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law. So the thing that's revealed belongs to the children of Israel and their children forever. You see, that's why he said no man was going to save the children of Israel. the children of Israel wasn't going as a nation all get away and be freed and go back to their homeland like these blind individuals celebrating Juneteenth when they still in captivity and slavery. Now, that was in Deuteronomy 29:29. Now, when you go to the next verse, the next chapter, I think, in 30, it even said it again. Let's see here. Verse 30. It said it again. Salakia. Well, I'm thinking in verse 3, that's what I was thinking of, where he said he would gather them from all nations where he sent them. So it's not in 30. But let's go to the featured. Let's go to the featured verse and then go from there to some of the other verses. Now, when you go to Acts, the Apostle Peter said something that was identical to what was said in Deuteronomy 28 and Deuteronomy 29. He said, "For the promise is unto you and to your children and to all that are far off, even as many as the Lord our God shall call." So Peter let them know in the first century, when right after the Holy Spirit came, that the promise was for the Israelites. In second chapter of Acts, the 5th verse, it lets you know that they was coming from all nations, every nation under heaven. He was gathering the children of Israel, not nobody else. He said it was Jews or Israelites, devout men out of every nation under the heaven that was coming. It wasn't other people coming, because the promise was for the Israelites and their children. And when you go to Joel, I'm going to say Joel, the 2nd chapter, it brings it out the best, because it was even Peter quoted Joel. And a lot of people try to put that on everybody, but that's not what Peter was quoting when he quoted Joel in the 2nd chapter, verse 19. In verse 16, he said, "But this is that which was spoken by the prophet Joel." You see, and so they try to put that on everybody. When you go to Joel, it's going to let you know who he was talking about, and it is identical to Deuteronomy 29 and 29. He starts it off in verse 27 of the 2nd chapter of Joel. In verse 27, he said, "Ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God, and none else, meaning nobody else. And my people shall never be ashamed. Now, right after that, as while he said he's the children of Israel God and nobody else God, he said he's gonna pour out his spirit on the sons and the daughters, on the children, so the children can prophesy. You see, he's still talking about the children of Israel. He's gonna pour out his spirit on the children. You see, and in verse 32, he give you the conclusion. And who's he talking to in the conclusion? In verse 32, he said, "And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord have said, and in the remnant whom the Lord shall call." That's what Peter quoted in Acts the 2nd chapter. That's why he worded it in that way. Even as many as the Lord our God shall call. You see, Joel ended in the remnant whom the Lord shall call. It's identical. And all of this was for the children of Israel. It was not for some all nations mess that they preaching now. All these churches on every corner preaching that's for everybody. No, it's for the children of Israel that was put on slave ships and was given the first punishment of the nations. And they was God's chosen children. They got a beating first. They got a whooping first. They got a punishment first. And so when you go to Jeremiah, you understand what it means when I say first. Because people think that only the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, who are the children of Israel, is going to get a punishment, and then Christ going to forgive everybody else, and they not going to get no punishment. Or everybody going to die, and that's when the punishment comes. No. People are going to come back on this earth and get the punishment because of what Jeremiah said in chapter 25. He said in 15, he started off in 15, he said, "For this says the Lord God of Israel unto me, take the wine cup of this fury at my hand and call all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it." And 16, "And they shall drink and shall be moved and be mad because of the sword that I will send among them." Then 17, "Then I took a cup at the Lord's hand and made all the nations drink unto whom the Lord has sent me." 18, "To wit, Jerusalem and the cities of Judah and the kings thereof and princes thereof, to make them a desolate, a astonishment, a hissing, a curse, as unto this day." So the Jerusalem got it first. They the ones got the punishment first. Now when you jump down to verse 29, he lets you know that just because he gave it to them first, what's going to happen. Verse 29, it say, "For look, I began to bring evil upon the city which is called by my name." You see, upon Jerusalem. And ye shall be utterly unpunished." So he's saying, I punished the children of Israel by throwing them on slave ships, taking them out of their homeland. But you other nations, y'all think y'all gonna go unpunished? Y'all think I'm gonna allow y'all to get the promise that I gave the children of Israel due to them being punished first? You think you gonna slide into their place and get the kingdom with them and be a part of their kingdom and ruling with their kingdom? No, that's not going to happen. He said, ye shall not be unpunished, for I will call for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth, says the Lord of hosts. You see, these people are not going unpunished. God don't love everybody. That is a dang lie. God is going to punish these other peoples. And he loves his children who he has punished first. That's why in Proverbs, where it talks about discipline the children, he said, you hate your child if you don't punish him. You see? So he haven't punished none of these nations. Now let's get that out of his mouth in Psalms. You can go to Romans chapter 3. It say the same thing, but let's get it out of Psalms, and I'm gonna close out with Psalms. But these individuals think that they gonna get away, and they not gonna get punished like the children of Israel got thrown on slave ships and being and was slaves to these people. No, they not. That's not gonna happen to them. They gonna go to paradise and they gonna go to the kingdom of heaven under Christ and live a wonderful life without being a slave on earth. They gonna be born into riches and live deliciously with the Babylon the Great, while the children of Israel suffer. Now when you go to 47? Yeah, 47. Psalms 147. Psalms 147, starting at verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Verse 20. He has not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgment, they have not known them. See, these other nations haven't known the judgment of God, where they going to get thrown on slave ships and put into captivity. The children of Israel know the judgments of God. They know what God do when he get angry with you. He throw your behind into captivity. You see, we know the judgments of God. We know that you gonna get punished by God and for what your forefathers did. Not just for what you did, for what your forefathers did. You gonna get thrown into captivity and have to work and slave for these people. So he tell the heathen before he closed out the book, King David let it be known that the heathen, y'all gonna get the punishment too. In Psalm 149, he said that let the high praises of God be in the mouth of the children of Israel, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. So the nations got to feel that judgment. They can't get away and don't have no judgment. You gonna get a judgment too. The children of Israel got a judgment. You gonna get a judgment. He said, you think I'm a punish the city that got my name on it, and y'all gonna go unpunished? No, it's not gonna happen. So the children of Israel, the promise is for them and their children, not all of these people. God don't love everybody, and he with all nations, and he trying to give the promise to all nations. That's a lie. Bold-faced lie by the deceiver, the devil, and the adversary, Satan. These Edomites and these other heathens out here, because they gonna get the judgment, and the children of Israel gonna bring that judgment to them. All praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rikakadash, and all glory To Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah. Double honors to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide. Death to America. Death to these red dragons. Shalom.